not overwhelm your assistant, especially on their first 30 days. So a lot of the time, a mistake that I see over and over again is something called delegation by abdication, where you accidentally just give all the tasks that you don't want to do to your assistant right off the bat. Hey there, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Now, my goal at the end of this video is to show you the top ways that you can succeed when it comes to outsourcing or hiring people online. Now, if this is your first time on my channel, my name is Lai Lacaba. I've been working from home since I was 15 years old and now run my own outsourcing company here in the Philippines. And I post videos every Sunday and Thursday on how to work from home and how to have a business from home. So make sure to hit the subscribe button right there so you don't miss any of my videos. Now, in the last video that I just did, I talked about a little bit more about outsourcing and why it works. And in this video, I really want to focus on how you can succeed before you even get started. Now, I've been in the outsourcing world basically for about 11 years because, like I said, I started in 15, now about 26. And I have been both the employee and the employer, and there's a lot of mistakes that you can skip as you are getting started. Now, the first one, and so the first one for the reason, is prioritize clarity. When you are the employer, when you're the person hiring and outsourcing, it is your responsibility to make sure that there is clarity on what needs to get done, on the project, on your business, all of that with your employees. You can't expect your employees to figure things out on their own, to just do it, because again, it's your responsibility as the business owner to actually show them the way through your business. That's why in this channel, I've been talking about how to make sure that you're delegating the right tasks, how to create a virtual assistant manual for when they get started. They have the guide for where everything is at, of making sure that you give them the right resources and training and material so then they can actually get started in your business right. If your employee fails to have clarity, that is actually your fault. So you have to really keep in mind to prioritize clarity, and I'll talk about in a little bit all the different things that you need to have clarity on, but I wanted to say that first so then we're on the same page basically, so you keep in mind that again, it's your responsibility as the employer to provide that clarity. Now, speaking of tasks, the next thing that you can do to be able to do outsourcing right is to delegate slow. Now, what I mean by this is to not overwhelm your assistant, especially on their first 30 days. So a lot of the time, a mistake that I see over and over again is something called delegation by abdication, where you accidentally just give all the tasks that you don't want to do to your assistant right off the bat. Now, this will hurt you and your assistant a lot more because it's going to make them feel overwhelmed, which will make them feel stuck, which of course nothing will get done. So that's what I'm saying, delegate slowly. Make sure that you're giving them the right tasks first. And I have a whole video on how to know what tasks to delegate to your virtual assistant, but it's basically making sure that it's a task that they can actually do. It's within their skill set, or you're willing to give them the training for it. And also it's a task that's not too essential in your business right off the bat. What I mean by that is you don't want to give your assistant or your new outsourced employee the task to close sales or to create social media posts right off the bat without getting to know more about your business and what your brand is at, or whatever it is that they need to know to be able to succeed at what they're trying to do. You want to start them off slow on tasks that are more repetitive or basically cleanup tasks. So it could be, you have an inbox of 2,000 emails, as a lot of our clients have had, and it's them going through and learning what are the important emails, what are things that they can throw away or archive, or even unsubscribing from newsletters. So it's making sure that they are doing something that is kind of just the least minimal financial impact into your business, but at the same time eases up your life. You can look at those tasks and find out which ones can I have my assistant focus on in the first 30 days as you guys are still getting to know each other, as you guys are getting to know their strengths, so then you can find out more and more what are the tasks to give to them. The next thing is to get your priorities straight, or have a really good prioritization method with the person that you're hiring. So one of the things that I see a lot is when you guys are working overseas, you guys aren't seeing each other often, you guys are mostly probably just chatting. A lot of what will happen is things will start falling through the cracks because there wasn't a clear prioritization method. So again, as the employer, it is your responsibility to give them the clarity, and that includes giving them clarity on what to prioritize on. Because when you are a new employee, you want to do everything to make sure that everything is right with your employer. Sometimes it's called like everything louder than everything else. So you want to make sure that you provide that clarity of, okay, these are our projects, these are the prioritizations. However, if this pops up, it goes up to this prioritization. So it's giving them that clarity of how to keep moving forward, especially if you guys are on different time zones. So even if you are asleep, they're able to still get things done and not get stuck, or even prioritize the wrong thing just because there wasn't a clear enough method of how to know what to do first. Now, this is something that as the guys' relationship goes on, they learn what the priorities are, but in the meantime, you want to make sure the first 30, 60, 90 days that you are taking responsibility for giving them the clarity and the road to know what the priorities are. Next is to make sure that you find and update resources. So what I mean by this, and I've talked about a little bit, is that you are responsible for making sure that your assistant, your employee, your outsourced employee has the resources that they need to keep succeeding, whether these are tools that they need to use for the workplace, whether this is training that they need to move forward, or it's something that you actually want to make sure that they know more about, that they have context about when it comes to working with you. So it's making sure, again, that you find and keep these resources updated as much as possible. So then it's easy for you guys to go back and forth. It's easy for them to kind of catch up and have better context on how to help you in your business. The next important thing that you can do to make sure that you do outsourcing right is to document. So earlier we talked about resources to give your assistant. Now it's then what are different things that need to be documented in your business currently that could help automate things or make things just easier for the both of you. So I have a whole video on how to create a standard operating procedure and all of that, of thinking of basically those SOPs as a recipe book, as a way for you guys to be able to repeat the same results over and over again. It also, documenting is also talking about making sure that you have, the right folders, the right names for files, so it's easier for you guys to find different things. The reason why you want to make sure that things are documented is you never know if your employee gets sick or something happens to them or a calamity happens and you don't have backups or ways to know what it was that they were doing. So one of the things that we have in 2XU is we make sure that every month we check in on the SOPs of the assistants to see if it's up to date, to see if there's anything missing, to make sure again that anything happens to both of you. You could be the one who's posting on social media, for example. You had a good documentation system, and if you wanted to go on vacation, your assistant can start taking over that. So that is kind of the magic of making sure that you have things documented. So for future reference, if anything happens to either of you, you guys have a fail-safe. Next is you want to make sure that you have clarity on what the employee benefits are. So this could be ranging from legalities, let's say you're a US employer and you're hiring someone from the Philippines, what's the legality with that? How can they take care of themselves? Making sure that you ask them like, hey, do you expect having a health package? Or do you expect having these number of leaves? Or you can set it yourself as you start researching and seeing what other people are doing. The reason why you want to make sure that you already have this is as you're hiring, it's going to make you look more like an attractive employer when you have these benefits already in line. Again, your responsibility to provide that clarity, which includes the clarity of what they actually will be getting as they get hired and working with you. Next thing that you want to make sure as you start outsourcing so you can do it right is to plan out costs and savings. Again, since it's your business, you should have some awareness of where things are at when it comes to the things that you spend on, and of course, generally where your finances are at. So you want to make sure that you have either just a little bit clear, so when you do hire your first outsourced employee, you have a good sense if they are costing you more than they should be, or if there are any tools that they need to have to be able to keep working, and if you have to pay for them. Again, it's just getting a better picture of where your business is at as you hire this person, because that's one of the cool things about hiring someone, especially online, is they come in as a different perspective and will be able to help point out things that you might have missed or work on things that you still haven't been able to work on. Next thing that you can do to make sure that you do outsourcing right is to communicate effectively. Now, what I mean by this is you would want to read more books on how to give and deliver feedback. You want to read more books on giving you context of how to manage people, and I do have a whole list of books that you should study. But basically, you want to make sure that you are communicating right and setting up systems to communicate right with your outsourced employee. One of the biggest pitfalls that I see whenever it comes to people working online is just a communications breakdown, because you don't have enough ways for you guys to stay connected, to keep updated on where things are at. Which brings me to my next point of making sure that you set up regular check-ins. So for example, inside of 2XU, we have 3 different types of check-ins. We have the daily report that employees send me every day. We also have the weekly meetings where we actually have a whole Zoom call with everyone in the company, and every month I schedule a one-on-one with them to check in on where they're at. Now, I know it sounds a lot, but it helps when it comes to making sure that they have the resources they need to keep going, and also to give them that clarity as the employer. That's my responsibility to keep moving moving forward. A lot of the time, a employee could be excellent and amazing in doing all of the things, but because of the lack of communication, things can start breaking down. So you want to make sure that you're the one setting up when these regular check-ins are, what's comfortable for you and what makes sense for you and your business. And now, one of the biggest things that would help you get started on outsourcing the right way is to have a goal. Have a clarity on where you want your company to go, so then the people that you hire, your assistants, they have clarity on where it is that they should be focusing on. So for example, instead of 2XU, they know that one of our biggest goals is to be able to help 10,000 entrepreneurs be able to have their business all online, all remotely. So a lot of them, they're helping us work with their entrepreneurs, with their clients, to be able to get them there. And also they know that we have the other goal, which is helping 1 million Filipinos work from home. So they're teaching other people, their friends, their family, they're referring them to us to be able to help us get to that goal as well. So because they have that clarity of what the goal is, they're able to help us within 2XU keep moving that forward. So try to, before you even start hiring, have clarity on where it is that you actually want your company to go, so it's easier for you to be able to plan projects and easier for your assistant or your outsourced employee to actually execute them. Now, if you guys like this video, make sure to hit the thumbs up button right there and comment below what are different things that you know you've done right with outsourcing, or any questions that you might have about it. Now, if you guys still haven't yet, make sure to hit subscribe button right there so you don't miss any of my videos every Sunday and Thursday on how to work from home and how to have a business from home. And you guys can check out those 2 playlists right here and the latest video right here. Now, I hope you guys have an awesome day. Remember that small steps matters, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!